Hello folks, Legionnaire Archery here today. I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to sinew backing. I had already posted a video on the subject, but it's not the highest quality video, so I'm going to go ahead and do it again for you guys, so hopefully you guys can see a little better what I'm doing this time around. Also, go ahead and visit my webpage, LegionnaireArchery.com. Sign up for the newsletter, it's free. You'll get some helpful tips that I don't post on my website. A lot of stuff that I don't post there, you'll have the chance to read new material there. On the newsletter is things that I don't post, or new products that I have coming up, or just new projects I'm working on, and some stuff doesn't make it to YouTube. Wait, let me show you guys what I have here, what I'm doing. The most important thing when it comes to sinew backing a bow is the setup. In my opinion, I like to set myself up here, because when you're doing it, it just goes by so quickly. I have some scraps here of sinew that I've been cutting up from those fibers there. That's processed sinew, and in that container there with water, as you can see, I have some sinew inside, which you probably can't see. Yeah, there's some sinew in there that's getting wet. I dip it in there, stay there for 5 minutes, and once it's there for a while, I take it out. Sometimes I comb it. Usually I don't, especially when I'm just making a sinew back bows, unless I'm making composite bows or whatever, anything else that needs a stronger backing. But lay it out. I lay it out and it's ready for me to add the glue. The first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and size the back, which means I'm going to go ahead and apply glue to the back of the bow so that it can absorb it. I apply about 3 layers of Knox gelatin. I use Knox unflavored gelatin, which is basically hide glue in its very refined condition. All of the elements that go into making hide glue go into making Knox gelatin. It's made out of pork parts, like the bones, the brains, all of the stuff that you wouldn't eat. That's basically Knox gelatin for you, and it's very strong type of hide glue. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, to size the back of your bow, you're gonna need to mix your Knox gelatin or your hide glue. You dilute the hide glue to make it thinner, and the Knox gelatin, you simply add a lot of water. You want to get it you're gonna get it slimy a little bit, but not too much. More water than gelatin. You'll feel it in your fingers. It has to feel just a little bit slimy so that it can penetrate the wood. And you want to go ahead and run your fingers through the back of your bow with the glue or the unflavored gelatin, and just do it to all of the parts that you're going to apply sinew, which will be all of the back. And if you are going to go ahead and do the sides, you can apply a little bit there too, so that it sticks in those areas too, especially if there's a knot. For example, if you had a knot here or anywhere, you would apply a little bit on the side so that you could put some sinew there, and it would cover it up nicely to prevent any fractures in that area. So go ahead and do this about 3 or 4 times, and you'll end up with a shiny back on your bow, and that's the proper way to seal the back with the glue, or as we like to call it, that's the proper way to size your bow. I do it. I go ahead and take my strands. I just basically cut the ends of the strands, and I soak them in water. I leave them there for about 10 minutes, and then once I take them out, I just flatten them, or I take out any excess, and then I just lay them down on my piece of plywood, and then they're ready to go into the glue and onto the back of the bow. Of course, we still need to get a few more of those sizings on the back, but pretty much after you're done with the sizing, you kind of have to work quickly. I'll show you that right now once I'm done with the sizing. Once I have finished sizing my bow, as you can see, the back is nice and shiny. I forgot to mention something. Before you size your bow, make sure you sand it. You sand the back of your bow, and then you run it over with mineral spirits or a moist towel, mineral spirits, or rubbing alcohol. That should get rid of any oils. You also want to clean your hands with rubbing alcohol or something, a degreaser, so that you don't have any oil on your hands, or else the oil is going to get into the wood, and that's going to prevent the sinew from sticking to the back of your bow, and it's going to lift. And if it lifts, it may end up breaking. Your bow may end up breaking, or worse. I'm going to go ahead and start putting my sinews on the bow. You want to put the longest sinews here on the middle, on the mid limb, and in the middle of your bow, and you want to put the shortest ones on the ends. So I have here my piece. I soak it in the Knox gelatin. I also added more gelatin into the mix. Now the glue is now thicker. The consistency is more syrupy. It's not like syrup, but it's a little more like syrup instead of water. I have more gelatin in there now. So I start by laying the first strand right in the middle, and then I just run over my finger like that. If you just do that and don't tangle any fibers, your sinew backing is going to look so nice once you're done. So just keep doing the same thing all the way from center out towards your tips. You also want to make sure your fibers, your strands, all of them are around the same amount of fibers, so that both limbs get the same amount. And because if one of them gets a little more, you're gonna have to take more wood off and whatnot. I have this bow not tillered, but it's bending already. I can already put the string on this bow handle before backing it. The reason I do this, or the reason I let my bows bend beforehand, is so that they can also take any reflex from the sinew. As the sinew is shrinking, it'll reflect the bow, pull it in the opposite direction. If you have a bow that's not bending at all, and then you apply sinew, the sinew is not gonna really give it any more reflex than it already has. It is still gonna impart tension, but it's not gonna be visible until you take the wood off. I like to just take as much wood as possible and then get it to near tillering dimensions before backing my bow. That way I just pick up any extra reflex the bow's gonna get with all of the sinew that I'm applying. This one's just a Apache style bow, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of sinew. I'm not even gonna go and do a lot of it. Probably just 2 layers. As you can see, the middle layer, the first middle layer is pretty much done. So you go ahead and you do all of it, and then you put your next strand of sinew not exactly in the middle. Last time, the first one, I put it right in the middle, both sides an equal amount. This one, what you want to do is make one of the ends the middle, and then just stretch it out. As so, the reason why you want to do this is because the first strand you laid in the middle ends here, and this one is gonna end over here. So it's gonna it's gonna give it a lot more strength if you do it this way. So you want your first one to end around here, your second one, or the one on the side, or both sides, you want it to end all the way over here. You want your strands to end all the way over here. That way it's overlapping. It's not overlapping, because if they all end in the same area, it's gonna create a weak point. So that's how you want to do it, and you just keep doing that throughout your bow, and you pretty much have it all down. Also, the second layer, I'm going to do exactly the same. The middle, I'm going to start the middle, the end is going to be here in the center, and like this, I'm going to start like this, like I did on the side, and then on the side I'm going to put it right smack in the middle. So that way it creates kind of a brick and mortar kind of a deal. I'll put up some illustrations over in the newsletter so you guys can see. And then I might put those on the website too, just because it's so important. So yeah, just go ahead and keep putting as much sinew as you need. Alright, we're pretty much done backing this bow. I applied 2 layers. I only went ahead and did 2 layers because it's not going to be a very high poundage bow, and I don't want it to be too heavy on the limbs. Anyways, what I did between the first and the second layer was that I went ahead and sized it again. So once you're done with your first layer, you want to go ahead and put more glue on there. And then once you're done with your second layer or your third layer, whichever is your last layer, you want to go ahead and put glue on there again, just to seal everything and make sure everything got plenty of glue, because the glue is gonna get absorbed by the wood, and so you want as much in there as possible so that it doesn't dry up your fibers, your sinew strands.